Hey guys, welcome to the channel. So this is my friend Val and she's got an upcoming tournament in November. So I'm hoping to spend the weekends in preparing her for her first tournament. So as of now, I have a rough game plan for our preparation and hopefully I'll be making a video in the future where we kind of outline that so that other people can maybe follow that game plan. But in this video, we did a round to assess where we're at and I'm thinking it's a good segue into looking at what we can focus on. All in all, I do believe that for any competition prep, it's important and helpful to record your rounds for review. What we've done on the channel has been to record our rounds and to see our gaps to see if we can replicate those same scenarios and kind of make it into a drill. That kind of gets us engaged into utilizing our instructionals as well. All right, so let's get into it. Now, I'm not too confident in teaching wrestling, but there are some fundamental stance and motion drills that we can utilize to feel more confident standing up. I like that you're trying to go in for that hip toss, but I feel like within the time frame that we have, if we're trying to learn a lot of like those judo hip tosses, like it's probably going to take a lot more time than we need to actually properly execute it and also execute it safely. I'm hoping for you to not spend too much time on the stand-up. Although, like, don't get me wrong, I do feel like it's important. I feel like the two scenarios are either someone's gonna pull guard or you're gonna be able to get a takedown. But more importantly, I think what's also most important is that we get into a scrimmage scrambling position where we're able to secure positional advancements that can help us with our submission. So I noticed throughout the round that we were kind of overextending our hand to reach for the head, and we'll just have to work on grip fighting on that front. But another thing that I kind of underutilized is we should also drill some headlock submissions and also the follow-ups that occur from the headlocks and being able to scramble out and advance our position from the front headlock position. All right, so this here's pretty cool. Now, as I escape and go into a double leg, you immediately get onto your side and start playing a rubber guard. Now, that's cool. So instead of accepting the takedown and going flat on your back and, having me settle, you manage to find ways of going back into an offensive cycle. So the problem with this rubber guard is that I've passed your bottom legs and you're in now a modified version of rubber guard called jersey. Now, conversely, if your legs had been on the outside or even on my hip, we get into New York, which is a stronger rubber guard position that opens up the full sequence of rubber guard attacks. Now, that's not to say that there's not things that we can do in Jersey. It's just it's very limited. And the only thing that I kind of trust from Jersey is shotgun armbar from guys who are really pressuring in. Because you still have that arm, we could still utilize that for attacks. All right, so here, good job bailing. And I end up resetting in order to, I think, work like guard passes. Now, from here, my goal was I was trying to bait the shin on shin, and eventually, like, once I step in, you get into the shin on shin here. And this is just something that we'll spend a lot of time working on, is the follow-up attacks from Rimi Ashi, or like the initial Ashi, like going shin on shin, and then working into X guard attacks. What profoundly changed my game was utilizing that with leg locks. I don't just have to start attacking legs, but rather I could use it and take advantage of the off balancing here. Like here, I'm in a 4-point. There's also ways of being able to wrestle up and to start capturing the hips for us to better our position or even take the back. All right, so boom, here I'm forcing knee on belly, and knee on belly I don't usually play, but I wanted to see how you fared well doing the knee on belly escape, and you did a good job actually of wrestling up and finally capturing the hips and taking the back. Now, there's only one thing I wanted to point out in this clip here. All right, so from here, you immediately let go of both of your hands in order to capture the hips. Now, this isn't wrong per se, but recently, like within the past few years, like Ryan and I have been drilling a lot of this wrestler technique where we shelf the leg first and then we slowly hike up into the back. It's a good preventative measure to make sure that guys aren't exploding out once you let go of the hands. All right, cool. Okay, stand up. All right, so now we get into back control. Now I wanted to assess like how strong the back control is, and what I really liked about this is that you're going hands over hands to start fighting my grips away as opposed to grabbing my wrists, which a lot of beginners do. Like they have a tendency to think about fighting the wrist first because it's the most obvious thing, but you went thumb over thumbs to start stripping off the grips. Another thing that I wanted to explore is actually just like overall maintaining the back. You know, utilizing those hooks to get a strong back heel, and as well as pinching your knees together to constantly maintain that back control. All right, so from here, I think I end up winning the hand fight battle, and then I immediately work this inside shoulder slip to escape the back. So just overall, we'll work on back maintenance. The inside shoulder slip is a common method of escaping, and at the end of the day, we're just working towards being able to prevent that turn. Even if that means like we don't have the strangle yet, but it's just preventing the turn so that they're not in a better escaping position. All right, so here, good job to transitioning into the legs, and really, really good sweep there. You know, that's a pretty common thing to always go like once a closed guard is open to attack the lower body. So from here, you start to pass guard, and we get into like, so you get into like this weird float pass position. Now I'm able to defend by utilizing a butterfly hook to start to off balance you and get your base off of me. Jordan's really good at, especially when I'm passing, utilizing butterfly hooks to use it as both like a frame and also to push me away. So whenever I feel that, I always bail and try to either force into a half guard again or go stand back up into my loose passing. All right, so here we reset into this neutral guard position. Now, actually, good job of like not conceding the back. You know, here I'm continuously like pushing you to try to get you to force supine. I do think like once we get better at more like hand fighting and like knowing more hand fighting sequences, then we could start to be more aggressive from the bottom. And this is a concept that Nabil likes to talk about a lot, which is to be aggressive from the bottom and having the person on bottom pushing forward and pushing the pace versus the person on top pushing the pace. Alright, so from here, I'm trying to force down again, and I start to work loose passing. And again, like I'm trying to work my my knee on belly. That way we can get reps of you working that escape. All right, so good job working the knee on belly escape. Now, the problem with that escape is that it puts you oftentimes into a wrestling scramble. And in this instance, I got into front head and then I start to work a go behind. Now, something that Craig Jones talked a lot about is whenever we can to always build height, and you know, even going from turtle to 4-point can give you a lot of mobility advantages. Now with that mobility, we could start to follow our partner as opposed to waiting for them to completely go behind and get into a cowboy ride for them to start getting hooks in and attacking our back. All right, so from here, and this is something that I really want to focus in a lot on, is getting comfortable being in cowboy ride and, you know, just riding people out from turtle. Because I think, especially in competitions now, a lot of people are going to want to stall in turtle, but instead, like, we could utilize cowboy ride to start building pressure and then waiting for them to open up. And then, you know, whether they open up their legs or they open up their arms, we always have attacks and, you know, being able to utilize grips and hooks in order for them to open up a turtle. But it all starts in cowboy ride. All right, good job here, trapping the legs and getting back into your half guard. Then here. Nice. Okay, so now we're in close guard, and now we're trying to play a close guard game. All right, just be careful pulling the foot like that. Instead, you could always opt for hugging the knee and then pulling the foot down. All right, from here, good job setting up the trap triangle, and obviously like not rushing any of like the mechanics here, and slowly working the setup. Now, I actually felt this triangle to be really tight, and it was pretty close, but I felt like there was more of an angle that you could have made in order for it to feel a bit stronger and tighter. And so obviously, like, we'll work on the mechanics of triangle strangles. In this scenario, if you find that you have a pretty tight lock, but we're unable to finish the triangle, we can still utilize this lock to start advancing position. Because from here, the more I move, like the more I'm able to start to free myself, which is no good. Now here, immediately after an escape, I go into repommeling into your legs to start attacking legs. And that's something that I want to drill as well is, you know, immediately escaping bad positions and then directly going into attacks. All right, good job escaping. But next time, let's work on maintaining our connection so we could start to work follow-up attacks. All right, so from here, we work more stand-up and more wrestling. And my game is like, I always like grabbing that 2-on-1. So if you ever overreach, like me grabbing that Russian 2-on-1. So yeah, boom, right there, Russian 2-on-1. That's kind of my game. And this is something that I think would be useful is drilling the reverse Tai Otoshi. So from here, I felt you leaning back. And with that lean back, that's when I wanted to step my foot across and then work the Tai Otoshi here. It's one of my favorite techniques, especially when people are having a lot of back pressure moving behind. So here I work for my chair sit back take. And you do this really cool thing where as I go, you immediately go and work that inside shoulder slip. All right, so good job escaping the closed guard, especially with using those inside armpit ties to make space and get out. Now, from here, just something to keep in mind is that whenever we're escaping closed guard, we want to be a step ahead and start to think about either passing guard or going into leg lock exchanges. Chances are those are probably going to be the two most common paths that someone is going to take once the guard is opened. So leg locks funnel well into guard passing and guard passing funnels well into leg locks. It's just like the two go hand in hand, and the more confident you are at leg locks, the more confident you're going to be at passing guard. Yeah, good try, Val. You're not getting me with this high elbow guillotine. I'm kidding. We'll make sure that your guillotines are good. All right, so this gives me quite a bit to work on and stuff to think about. So let's work on scrimmage wrestling, specifically advancing the rear body lock. Ashi transitions, whether it be from initial Ashi or into Ashi X, and then trying to get it to lead to the back. Improving finishing mechanics for triangle chokes. And of course, like maintaining and controlling the rear pin. And finally, yeah, just finding resources to play rubber guard if that's going to be something that you want to be playing in the tournament. Thank you, Val. I'm really excited to see you win this tournament and absolutely kill it. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Just remember, if you have time to kill, you have time to drill. Peace.